Hello, Star Wars unboxing fans. Welcome to our annual, I guess it's Gingerbread Making Day, where we are going to do a Star Wars themed gingerbread house, or in this case, gingerbread vehicle. And for this year, got my Star Wars coffee mug with my coffee caffeined up, ready to go. I'm going to go with this. Used to be an off-screen vehicle called the Imperial Troop Transport Vehicle. This actually, for those who didn't know, was actually one of my favorite vehicles. Actually, it was originally a Kenner release. It was never seen in the original movies. It was just something that was created by Kenner designers as kind of a almost a precursor to those mini rigs that came out a few years later. Something that it looked like it would be there, it was just off screen. And the cool thing about this vehicle was that it had those 6 buttons that you see on the top there. They actually were electronic sounds. This was kind of these days, all vehicles and toys come with sound clips. But this was, way ahead of its time. Where they had like little sound clips from the movies as 3PO and R2 and Stormtrooper voices and stuff like that. So I was looking at this, and it's one of my favorite toys. They had several releases, and since then, in shows like The Mandalorian, which of course Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, being Star Wars fans from the 70s, decided to actually include this vehicle in the show itself, both in Mandalorian and in the Rebels cartoon series. Looks a little bit different, but it is in fact now a canon vehicle. So it makes perfect sense for us to make it. It's also pretty straightforward. It's pretty much a rectangle, so I think I can accomplish it. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole process of making the gingerbread. I mean, that's just standard in any kind of gingerbread mix. Okay, but what I do have here are a few of the templates that I'm going to use. This, of course, is the top. Okay, the sides, right, the back, and then there's a few, I always like to make a few shaped pieces that I can layer on top, just to kind of give it a little bit more depth. All right. However, I've come across a new way to kind of do things that I've kind of liked, and that is utilizing. Now, I will show you that this piece, I'm going to probably cut this a little bit bigger because, as you can see, we have this. This is kind of like the front, okay? But what I'm going to do is literally, this is just foil with foil pans, kind of cut up and molded to be the shape, and then I'm just going to layer the pieces around it and put them in the oven like that, so they kind of come out rounded, okay? And then, of course, for the sides, for all the little compartments, we have about 6 of these that we will use. I could have probably just done a handful and just redid them. We're going to try to get them all in one shot if I can. Okay, so we put all that together, and we'll see how it goes. So, as I said, if you want to watch the actual dough and stuff being made, you can go look on my previous videos. Okay, and it's just standard, gingerbread house mix that you can do. Some people, you can actually buy, pre-mixed stuff, or I'm just using a basic recipe. It's pretty straightforward. Flour, sugar, eggs, butter, molasses, brown sugar, that is, and kind of makes then you roll out the dough, and here we go. Okay, so I've made the dough, and I forgot though, the dough requires a few hours to chill before I can, roll it out into the pieces that go here. So I'm just going to kind of go through some of the items I do. Generally speaking, when I make a gingerbread house, I kind of like to when it comes to the decorating part, I kind of utilize what I find. I don't kind of go in with a mission. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I just want to see how inspiration surprises me or whatever. One thing I do use though is Rice Krispie treats. Now I don't use them really to decorate. I actually use these for support. I will take all these little things out and kind of build little support for the gingerbread to go in. I know that's a cheat, but I'm not trying to play any contest here, and it is still edible. So what I basically do is stack them up inside and let the sides of the house or the vehicle or whatever I'm making lean up against it, because I just feel like I don't have a lot of luck with that. I mean, maybe it's the royal icing recipe doesn't harden fast enough or what have you, but it seems like every time I try to put the sides of a house together, they tend to fall through and it gets messy. This is a great kind of a cheat that helps with it. Now, a while back, I remember them actually selling like a, almost like a 9x12 or even 11x14 sheet of just Rice Krispie treats, like that you could cut it any way you wanted. I haven't been able to find that lately, so I just grabbed one of these little mini squares things, which in a way is good because I don't need it to be completely solid in the middle. I just need a kind of a framework, and this kind of allows me an easy way to do that. So I use that for that. I also love to kind of populate my thing with snowmen, and I love I'm not a fan of Peeps. I don't eat Peeps, which is really good because I shouldn't be eating any of this. So there's too many sweets are not good for me. But these I like for decoration because they kind of remind me a little bit of stormtroopers. All right, so that's always good. Now, since we're trying to do a gingerbread style thing, I find that the coconut flakes are always a great way to just cover your base with snow, quote unquote snow, and there it is. Okay, and then I've found a couple other items here, like got some icing decorations. I picked up most of these, I think, at Target or Walmart. Here's some gummies. So a lot of this stuff is really just to kind of decorate around the item itself. Of course, there's always candy canes. I use these to basically, sometimes they double as weaponry and things of that nature. And we got a couple of these things, like a decorating kit, which it looks like it has some of these mints on it and gummies and a few other things. So that's always good. And then, we have our more gummies. And this is just to kind of give it all its like holiday-esque flair. And then the last thing I have here is icing. And this is red and green. And this is definitely good for cookie icing, that kind of thing. And that'll, I'm also, of course, going to use regular royal white icing to kind of frame all of the outlines and everything. I feel like that is pretty much all you need to do is just kind of trace around the outskirts of it, and anywhere that the toy or the vehicle would have any kind of greebly kind of lines, you can just do little squares and circles and you get that gingerbread house kind of feel. But then if you want to have some more color with it, you can use stuff like this. Although I made a little extra dough to make some cookies, and I'm going to use this icing on the cookies as well. So that's what we have for that. Okay, so next video, we'll start putting it together. Okay, so an update. So we have 4 of the side compartments. Now my hope was to be able to take the foil out, but I think that once this thing hardens, that's going to be really hard to do. So I think instead I have a new plan to kind of keep the support structure where they are and do something a little more creative with it. But that's what I say, there's no rules in this. We're just having fun, and I understand I'm not doing anything else. Also, here's my first Halcyon cookie. I actually found a cookie cutter that someone on Etsy was selling. A lot of people on Etsy were selling, actually. I love 3D printing. I look forward to the day where I could try doing that. So, and in the oven, we've got the bigger piece. Ooh, it looks like it fell apart a little bit, but that's all right. I can do a little repair. And you know what? Anything that does kind of fall apart, nothing like a little royal icing will fix. And so here we have our completed product, our slightly wider and somewhat Christmassier or holiday more themed Imperial troop transport. I put a few different troopers here around it because I feel like this time of year we should all have peace on Earth, including all the different Star Wars fans. We have our original trilogy here, we have our sequel trilogy here, we have our solo trooper here. Still also love the prequels, but I didn't want to put any battle droids in here, so we got a Snow Bunny Padme. Of course, I have Luke hiding behind here, Snowy Chewie. And look what I did with my little Peep snowmen. They're the prisoners. That is what the stormtroopers are out doing. My story is they were out there collecting snowmen prisoners, and they are now about to get rescued by our heroes. Behind that, we have our wonderful Star Warsy Christmas tree, which I've shown has some Lego pieces and some custom art, some Hallmark miniature ornaments. There you go. And like I said, you know, the foil that I used to shape the insides of this, I decided to keep it as is, and then just build around it, which now it has more support. So there it is. So that is this year's holiday themed Star Wars gingerbread. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Solstice, or Life Day. Let's all practice peace on earth, and perhaps there will be there, and that will become so if we work at it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Happy holidays, and until next time, may the Force and the toys be with you.